I'm Ann Morrison,
And I'm Blake Walton. Welcome to.
holding down the fort. I am out on the road with a Broadway tour of Kimberly Akimbo.
And I'm in Sarasota, Florida, holding down the fort. We thought it might be fun for us to share our experiences and discoveries of what it's like for Annie on the road.
And Blake back in Sarasota holding down the fort. Sit back and enjoy.
Hopefully, be part of our conversation.
So, Blake, let's see. The last time we talked, I've been through Houston, I've been through San Antonio, Texas, and now I'm finishing up in Austin tonight with the last show. And then
Right.
we are on a plane to New Orleans.
Yes. Oh my
And the
God.
whole Texas stay has been wonderful. This is a great audience, especially in San Antonio and Austin. They got everything. They were like an old-fashioned audience in the sense that when something was a groaner, the entire audience groaned at the same time. You
Wow.
don't get that much in theater anymore. It was great. They were with us. They were in the palm of our hand.
Mhm.
Some couple of shows are a little slow to get started because they're not quite sure what is going on. And then as soon as they hook in, Jim, who plays my father, often before I go on, we stop and wait if they laugh at "I think Springsteen's just okay" in the opening number, and the audience laughs, and we do a high five because we know we got them for the rest of the show.
Yes. Oh, good.
Um,
Great.
it's
Um,
fun.
what So you haven't really found many differences in the three different towns in Texas?
Texas was in Houston was a little bit slower, but they were really wonderful audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, sophisticated audiences
they
do
were
tend to
sophisticated. Yeah, they were pretending to be sophisticated.
be Houston. I love it. Um,
It was wonderful. And like I said, I've only driven through Texas in my life, except when we stopped in Conroe, Texas, because your sister and her husband were living there. We wanted to stop and see your dad, who was he also in Conroe?
yep.
Yeah. So, which was lovely. But then we went out with your sister and to be with the good old boys with the rifles in the back of the truck. And all we
I
ate was meat and potatoes.
I think she lived in Cut and Shoot.
That's right. She lived in cut and shoot.
Maybe.
That should tell you
Or
something
or
right there.
somewhere outside of Conroe. Yeah, that was a real interesting introduction to Texas,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we were invited to the VFW to have a barbecue celebrating the local judge who was being hosted by all of the people that he got off in the courtroom. They all paid him off during the year,
Right,
and
yeah, lovely.
so
Um,
we were in a whole room full of criminals at the VFW,
right.
and they're doing
Well,
line
welcome
dancing.
to America right now. We're
Right,
all full of
right.
criminals all the time. And all we had was barbecue and potatoes. And I remember coming back to your dad's house and saying, "Can I please have a carrot?
Yeah, please.
Or a little spinach somewhere?"
Thank God my stepmother was, she liked to make really wonderful
And all
food.
those people have
Um,
bad case of diabetes and
yeah.
gas.
And the fun thing about that too was we were celebrities. Well, I was a celebrity
Right.
because somewhere along the way there was somebody from the paper, local paper, who caught wind that we were there, and they knew something about that I was a playwright, and that
Right.
you were an off-Broadway singer, and
Yes.
so.
Off-Broadway singer, yes.
So they got a picture of us, but they thought it was us. It was me.
Mhm.
And we were line dancing, and it was your hand. But actually, the woman who is near you, who it was in the picture, it looked like I was dancing with, looked a little bit like you. So I could see why they mistook that. So the caption read, "Play right," and that means, and it was one word, but it was all right, Write,
Right.
play right, Blake Walton, and off-Broadway singer Annie Morrison Blake.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Enjoy dancing. But the cool thing is though, that the next morning or the next day, when the paper came out, my dad was incensed. He said, "How is it you are famous, and I've been trying to be famous in this area all this time, and you're the playwright." And he was playwriting at the time, so that was really fun. But yeah, what a time, because you and I had a lot of looks together, and at one of the next day after the barbecue, we went to another barbecue. There was another gathering with a whole bunch of people who were started the day about 7 o'clock in the morning, which they like to do, drinking.
Yeah.
Um, I had to ride off in a truck with the men, the boys, while you stayed with
The
the
kitchen,
girls
very
and
boring
in the
conversations with
kitchen.
women.
Right. And I don't know what we were doing. We kept going to different people's places. There were guns everywhere. Um, and we kept stopping. And I don't know if they were picking up drugs or something else, or all checking up on so and so. And then we finally made it back. And then I had the honor of my sister's father-in-law, who lived nearby the place where we were having a little party, invited me over to go see his guns.
Oh, good.
I said, sure, why not? We just did as the natives did. Um, and I went over and
I
we
was
went,
asked to make a pie. I don't know.
see, we were in his main bedroom and he started pulling guns from under the bed to show me his collection. I thought, okay, it's a collection. These are guns. Okay, I couldn't wait till I got back.
You
And
have to do a 10-minute play on that. And
oh
every
yeah,
just another, and then it's another
visiting cut and shoot.
wizarding cut and shoot.
Okay, so that's a 10-minute play.
10-minute play.
Visiting cut and shoot.
Wouldn't be
Um,
anything any longer than 10 minutes.
right. Um, I just remember being driving up. I'm backtracking, but driving up to the VFW with my brother-in-law, who was Petey Fisk. That's a name in what's it called? The play with two men in Texas. Tuna,
Tuna?
Raider Tuna.
Yeah, Gator tuna.
Raider Tuna. Petey Fisk is one of the characters. He's a boy, but and seeing all the trucks and knowing that they had racks in the back of their trucks and there were guns everywhere.
Oh my God.
I thought, can we
Well, I
walk
haven't had any of that experience here. I haven't seen one gun.
in? Darn it.
Yeah. I've been having and wonderful food. So that's an Annie and a Blake from the past that doesn't exist anymore.
Really. Thank God. So, we were both going to look at the truth of something. Is that what it was? What was our
I'll have to
sort
ask
of
our audience,
assignment?
what were we supposed to do? Um, yeah, I think it was just a truth, you know. I'm having fun. I was just signing autographs before we started this, after the afternoon show. And one woman said, how do you do this how do you get into character and all that stuff? And I said, my joking thing is always to say, well, I just show up because I really am a 16-year-old in a 7-year-old body. That's my joke. And she laughs. And I said, well, I think the trick for me is to just stay in the now. A lot of people get bored with on the road or long runs because a lot of times they're in the past about something. But if you're always just in the now and and fresh, then becomes alive and you make discoveries. Um, and for me, I always ask before the curtain goes up, the universe, what interesting thing can I learn today? What new thing is it something about Kimberly? Is it something about anything? Just what I don't want to even put a restriction on it or insist on what it has to be. Just I'm open for it. I'm allowing whatever to come in, and I usually always get something interesting, you know.
Did, did we talk about this last week about your little ritual just before
Yeah,
the thing goes up? Yes, we did talk about it.
so
Great.
good.
Um,
I
um,
had a lovely surprise yesterday. I'm doing my ritual and I get into place for the matinee and then I'm doing the show and I come in and I'm doing some things and I went to my PT and I came in And I have a crack in one of my teeth back here, so I always chew on this side unless it's something soft, and that's just I have to be careful. If I suck on anything, it's sucking, and then if it's really soft, then I can do it. But it's always on this side of my face. Well, I go out, I come into my dressing room and I'm going, what is wrong? Do I have something stuck on my tooth? And I realize part of my tooth is gone.
Ah,
And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I didn't eat anything, hard. What just happened? So I explained to everybody I've got a weird thing in my tooth. I don't know what's going on, but it broke off somehow. And I went on stage and I get in a place and I have my skates in this hand and get ready to pull the necklace out here because one of the first things she does when that curtain goes up in silence is she cracks the candy necklace and chews it. And that's the symbol to start the show. When they hear that, then the music begins and the show begins, right? So I'm to start the show. So I get up there, I got my skates, I pull this out, and I went, that's how I broke my tooth. It's a hard candy. And I thought, I can't do that. So I had to go, I was the necklace around this way to crunch on it. But that's what happened. So I have a crack. It's nothing's exposed. I might be able to limp along till it's Christmas when we have a break to finally get a crown put there. But it was
but now you're
so
reversing your skates.
today I had the skates in this hand and then went out this way and went. I said, I hope they don't fire me for changing the blocking.
I love that. We didn't talk about this ritual. I don't no, would you tell about that the day that you're really grumpy? Um and
It was
and then you came on stage ready to start and just tell the whole little ritual that you went through and
Yeah,
then
I normally I want to have a good time and I want to um, feel open and aware and heartfelt so that I can pass it on to the audience. I'm going to get to that story, but I was talking to someone else last night on outside that used to be you could really feel on stage the audience meet you, and there was this energetic thing that could appear. It was a
yeah.
lovely. You could feel it if you were aware. You could feel this connection with a live audience, which is why it's so lovely to do live theater. And then we were seeing more people watching television. We were seeing that they were sitting back, and we as a performer had to go much farther out in order for that energy to come up. And then COVID happened and everybody got so used to this. So it took a while for people to get used to that. But now what I'm feeling, and maybe it was because of COVID and people away from live theater for so long, I'm feeling this connection again, which is kind of lovely. So I look for that. But one of the things I want to do when I get out there to get ready for the show is to be open for that energetic exchange that happens. And
Mhm.
I was feeling kind of pissy, and I don't want this. I can't start the show feeling pissy. I've got to get myself aware. And so I was just doing my little ritual and just trying to open up my space. And all of a sudden, one of our crew members, who's kind of head of props, came running over into the area where Seth, the character Seth, is at the skating rink. And she sticks her hand. She's, "Hi, Annie. I love you, Annie." And I came up and I gave her a hug. And why then? Why then? It was so lovely. And I went, oh, thank you, universe. And everything just lifted and my heart went like this. And I got my skates and I got my necklace because I still could chew it on the side. And the curtain went up and bingo, it was lovely. So that was beautiful.
Mm. 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 Um, that reminded me of something. I don't remember what it was. Oh, I was thinking about the truth of something in terms of my rehearsals. Right now, I'm rehearsing, the short play and working with an incredible cast of people who are terrifically invested. And um, the the truth I was learning is that when you show up as a director and are willing to allow this incredible cast of people that you've got, um, allow them to do their job
Right.
and allow them the the opening for them to do their job, and the setting the tone for them to do their job. Because we're at the point where we are still blocking some things. Um, and um, when I allow that, it's remarkable what can happen. We are I think I think you and I understand something about blocking a play that a lot of directors don't, and I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about what we do know, um, um, and that is that you can create such an incredible dynamic between characters by proximity, by adding um, adding a little bit to something, a piece of movement. I will say spoilers for anybody who's going to see the play. Um, there's a gun involved, and the gun is put down. So everyone and I actually talked to each of them at some point and said, um, and they let me know that they were really aware all through this next bit where they didn't have a lot of lines going, but they were all aware that the gun was sitting on this table next to them. They're hauled up in a during a lockdown in a classroom, and the gun is taken out, and they are all aware that the girl that had the gun is not crazy. She's a very sweet girl, and it was simply because her dad wanted her to make sure that she felt protected. And for a second, because they hear kids running down a hallway, she doesn't feel protected, so she brings it out, and that's where we're introduced to the gun. So it is sitting there, and we all had to be aware it was there.
Right.
I reminded them that I was the audience eye, so we could see it in a certain way. And so it was naturally set in a certain way, not aiming out to the audience. But that's where our awareness was. But the audience then becomes distracted by the dialogue that's going on in the action. But every single actor was aware in some form. And it started with Cindy, who plays a substitute teacher in the room, saying, okay, here we are. Let's reset. Let's go with it. Um, now, and she started talking to them about a very specific thing. And I said, so the entire time you're talking right now, just take a couple steps. You're not going to be invading her space, but a couple steps toward the student who had the gun and look into her eyes. And it's something we do with anyone. We want to make sure that they know that we are okay with them and that we feel comfortable with them, and therefore they hopefully feel comfortable with us.
Right.
You're not doing anything drastic. And I said, and now to the actress, Gabby, I said, is when she takes one step too close, just gently put your hand back on the gun until she leaves you.
Hmm.
And I looked behind her at a couple other actors in the scene, and there's
Yeah.
because they were seeing that there's this extra little thing. It wasn't scripted, but it's a little thing that says one more deep thing about these characters in this piece.
Exactly.
Um, that was a great reminder to me of um, my truth as a director. My truth is to bring out any element I can to tell whatever that story is.
Right.
Sometimes it's something the audience won't ever see.
Right.
But sometimes it can be a subtle little thing that can be seen.
Right.
Um, um, and I, once we all were there, there was sort of noise. I mean, people were saying, "Oh, wow, yes, got it." And I said, "Now we're making a play."
Yeah. Right.
And I always use the we word as much as I can because we have a
We have a
concern.
tapeworm.
Yes, we have a tapeworm, but because I yeah, we know I have my job and they have their job, and they are separate in a way, but we dance together. And
In
so,
theater, is it is a
uh,
collaboration. Um,
speaking of that, you told me that you heard from, I think it was a woman who'd seen the show, and she was talking to you at the stage door. Oh, I know. Yeah, it was friends who came, or friends of friends who came, and you had coffee or something. But she talked to you about those details.
right. She was
You
very
picked up
aware.
on.
She was very aware of little details that I had developed for Kimberly. And and you're just creating a world, and you're creating a being. And I don't expect that everybody will take all that in. They'll take it in at a larger scale. But
Yeah.
she was really very aware of detail. And you don't always have this conversation with people. For instance, she got right away that Kimberly was discovering the arthritis click in her finger. And so that's a consistency that I have every once in a while, especially when she's nervous or upset. It's something that, because we play with our bodies. We play with things that aren't right. And that means that through the course, this is also getting worse. All right. And then it's in the second act, she's I'm giving her a more age because she's aging. She's aging in that short amount of time, right? So I discovered that having her hip, she's very aware of her hip. So every once in a while there's that twinge in that hip. Just a subtle thing, but I'm aware of it. And my dresser said, I was worried because I saw you have a slight limp coming off the stage after the hospital. Then I said, well, yeah, because the hip is affecting that whole rundown of her leg. She got out of the hospital bed. She's going to be in pain. That's going to take a while to process. And she said, I'm so glad that it was a character just because I was afraid that you got hurt on stage. I said, no. But like little things like that. And another thing that I like I remember my dad and a couple people when they're having heart issues or congestion up here. There's this breathing is hard sometimes, so they have a little habit of going
I
when they,
remember him doing that.
yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've added that towards when she's in her old age costume before she has to change in again. It's just
Well, you
extra
can
stuff.
explain. There's a point when she's playing an old lady
Right.
uh, to make something happen,
Yeah. Right.
and it's a bizarre thing because it's old lady playing young girl playing old
Old
lady.
lady. Yeah. And it's a
It's just
shock for some people. Um, so when I'm singing one of the beautiful songs towards the end about realizing that she can't heal her parents, that they
Yeah.
have to separate. The only way that anyone's going to grow here is for she has to go on, right? And there's a line in the song she sings, I was never the girl you intended. She was young and she was bold. She hold your hand when you got old. And of course, I grab that joint that's been hurting because we've established that already. She's also holding her own hand, you know. It's just little things like that. I just try to have a consistency through. And this woman got it. She caught
Yeah.
almost every. She also loved the way I would use my feet. She said you did things with your feet that fascinated me, like the way you sat. You always had one foot over the other, and I said, yeah, it's a youthful thing that actually Blake helped me with when I was doing Peg in My Heart in London, the musical version Peg.
And I will tell you that it came from Mabel Normand.
It actually came from Mabel Normand. That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Right.
And you were told by
Sitting in a
were
picture.
you were told
Yeah,
by her nephew
her
who
nephew.
met
Right.
who you met and who sent you a beautiful on her stationery. Sorry, guys. But yes, he sent you on her stationery, sent you this wonderful note about honoring his grandmother. It was his grandmother, wasn't it? He was grandson,
Right. Uh-huh.
I think. Um, um, or
With little gestures, but we also saw it in the
yeah, yeah.
poster. The
But he
poster
said,
for
yeah,
Peg in My Heart. Yeah, she
right,
had a photograph
exactly.
of
I
it.
mean,
And I
that's
remember
where
you
that came
running when they
from.
had to take a picture of me. You ran over and put my foot on top of that.
Did I? Oh
And
my God.
that's
Okay.
always been a character choice every once in a while for youth. So
Yeah.
she's now a part of Kimberly. That's
Yeah,
a
I love
gesture.
that.
And little things like I like, I think I may have mentioned before, I like to add little things for my 16-year-olds that we've been working on. A gesture here or a hand thing there,
Yeah,
the
like you
dragging of
say.
a foot. Um,
I think I may have told I'm working with Maddie right now and trying to think what it is with it. Anyway, yes. Um, that reminded me of the fact that I'm reading all these, and you don't have to listen to this part, Annie. I'm reading all these incredible reviews. They've all been phenomenal so far, and what I think they are doing is picking up on those subtle things because they're talking about the fullness of the character
mm,
um, in ways that it's interesting for a musical to have this kind of uh, a way of describing a character. And they are picking up on it too. And I think that obviously others must be. So this is it's a delightful thing. It's amazing subtlety that actors do that create,
mm.
um, and then they believe in it. So beautiful. I don't know what I just said.
Well,
It's
the
that's
cast
sort of
was that
profound.
everybody really enjoys each other. Now,
Yeah.
most of them have done it already a year.
Yes.
And I mean, they were talking about Halloween's coming up, and this will be their second Halloween together. They're
Yeah.
figuring out their costumes and everything. So, and Thanksgiving, you know. Um, so, so I now
Well,
get to be
most of
part
them
of it.
have. They started out last September,
Yeah, yeah,
so they've had their anniversary sort of, haven't they?
absolutely.
I'm sorry to jump in there.
No, it's been so working with them. We've really it's fun developing these relationships as family. And
Yeah.
I when I have to turn and look at my mom and dad during that last beautiful song,
Yeah.
my ritual to them, because I my back is to the audience looking at them, is I always give a little nod to Jim because I'm so full of love for him.
Yeah.
He's so in
Jim
the
Hogan.
moment of being the knowing he has to say goodbye to his daughter.
Yeah.
And then I look at mom and I wink at her. So
You're
it's
talking about Emily, right? Yeah.
no, no, not Emily.
I
Oh,
mean, I mean,
Laura.
Laura Williams.
Just to
Um,
just to let know we're on the same page. We're all safe and we're all good.
yeah. So it's a little wink.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Those
Um,
are the things that we get to create as rituals
yeah.
that continue. Um, it's not, it is. It's a kind of this is what we do. And they're observing, they're enjoying it. But this makes what we do richer
Mhm.
because we had that extra little knowing.
Right. And of course, like I said, as I said before, I like to entertain the crew. So they asked us, "Do you see us in the wings doing something? Does that bother you?" And I said, "No, I see what you guys are doing in the wing, and I look for it every time." There's a moment where I jump up on the couch and sing, "I want to go to Sweden and try what is it? I'm gonna bungee jump in
China,
Sweden. I want to go
China,
to China and New Zealand and St. Louis." So I go,
Louis.
I gesture and I gesture over here in the wings, and they're all going. They always do something different for me. Probably drive some actors crazy, but
Yeah,
no, it's they're part of the family, so yeah.
I love that. The when I hear stories about people standing in the wings waiting for something,
Mhm.
uh, ready to see something again, ready to do that. Um, I've I love that. I and yes, there are times when it feels distracting with with some things, but certainly not this, because you're on the road,
Yeah.
and it's all new for everybody in a way. I mean, it's a new venue, and for a week, so there are ways to remind you that also you don't have to take everything so seriously.
Well, this is a funny thing. This is a driving city for us, so they because the hotel's just too far for us to walk, so they
Right?
have to give us rental cars, right? But I'm the star, I guess. keep on reminding me of that. They said, because I was signing up to be in the car, someone's car, and they said, no, no, you're the star, you get a star car. I went, I get I'm fine. But they gave me the biggest car, and I'd like to drive little cars, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of
I
an SUV, isn't it?
said, "Oh,
Yeah,
it's huge." So there's
yeah.
for me, it's just one huge blind spot, you know. And so I just drive from the hotel to the theater and back again. I don't go anywhere because I'm just terrified. Finally feeling confident about driving it, but oh, it's
Well, you're
hilarious.
leaving tomorrow, so.
I said, from now on, if we have another driving city, small car.
Um, Bill Saracen was talking to me or texting me about. I told him that and he saw the ad for the first thing, first sewed, um, and I finally turned him on to watching it. I said it's 40 minutes long, you know, if you can stand watching it. But he said, wouldn't it be cool to have a section each time that we sort of look forward to, like a little thing about like a wacky audience something. Were there any wacky audience things that happened?
Wacky audience. It's just well, there's always the rudeness of people walking between the first row and the orchestra pit because they have to get to their cars when
Oh,
you're
but that's
curtain call.
is that oh
I
during the curtain
wave
call,
as they
right?
leave.
Yeah. Oh, good, a
Let's
standing
enjoy the
ovation, walking
show.
ovation. um,
Wacky so far, it's just been there'll be some wild laugher out there that will go off stage
yeah.
and say, well, that's it's like a hoo-hoo thing. It's very fun. But
But these are gigantic venues, and it's you know I can't imagine you being able to see much beyond you know
I don't see
um,
anything out there.
first couple of rows even. Um, and as a reminder for people, there is an orchestra pit for each of them too. So there's that distance that
And that changes from
um,
theater to theater because sometimes we have a
yeah,
huge chasm, and sometimes that's because we have a stage that we bring, right, that goes on top
yeah.
of the stage with its numbers on it. So you can't. I mean, one time when I was first doing it, I actually stepped off the edge because I had all this footage still before I even got to see our conductor, Lee. So I said, "Oh yeah, no, you have to stay in the reality of the stage that we have, not the reality that's there." Um, yeah,
Oh, I see. Okay.
different every.
Um, I know what we could. I think I would like to talk about stage door,
Okay.
and about we'll call it our stage door Johnny section.
Okay.
Um, tell us some profound um, and you know you can have a modesty about this, but some profound things that you got to talk about or impart or learned from somebody.
Usually when I leave, nobody knows I'm Kimberly.
Yeah,
So
but
I
that's
quite
not
often
true.
I walk right
Mhm.
past people because they have no idea
Right,
until I open
but
my mouth. When I open my mouth and they
right.
go, "Oh, you're the one who played Kimberly." And
But
they
the
go, "Oh,
times when you did stop, like you had a couple things. Tell us about the kid who had a connection to the show.
well, that was not at the stage door. That was at a talk
Okay.
back. I love doing talk backs.
So maybe we can combine these two. So audience responses to you that are direct, like either in the talkbacks or at stage door. Let's start talking about that a little bit too, because that's something that it's yes, beyond the show, but it's ways that people are responding to you. It's something we don't get to hear that because it's to you particularly.
Right.
So talk about the kid who went to the young man who
Well, it
went
was
to
a talk back, and
the,
they opened it up finally for the audience, the kids, because they were mostly students, to ask a question. And one kid shot his hand up, and I remember looking at him and thinking, there's something interesting about him. He may be on the spectrum. There's something different about him, but he's got a lovely energy. He raised his hand and he said, this is my first time I've ever been to a musical. Never been to a musical before. I had no idea what the story was about. It was amazing for me, but I am also a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid with a rare genetic disorder. And he said, this was profound for me. That was, and I wanted one afterwards for running, but he already left, so I didn't get a chance to see him again. Um, A lot of times the students, they're all excited because they're on I always ask people when they're younger, Are you in the theater?" And they want to tell me about their show, and what they're doing and what they're learning about it, which is great. And then people ask me questions, how do you do such and such? How did you, blah, blah, blah. And then I get a chance to give some a little life lesson as well.
Mm.
And usually the mothers will say, "Oh, I just learned something. Uh,
Yeah.
life lesson." Yeah.
Right. I would I'd like to hear some of those things specifically too, because I think we could
Maybe we can do
all
that next
do
time
one.
because
Yeah.
I don't remember
Um,
any of it right now.
right.
But I will
So
keep that.
will you tell us about the surprise you had a couple nights ago? Um, because a young man walked up to you and said what to you?
Oh yeah. He was with his mother. He was a young
Mhm.
man.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hi, this is my mom, and we've flown all the way from Canada to see the show because I'm going to be doing the Canadian premiere of Kimberly Akimbo. And we just wanted to see it. So we flew all the way down." I said, "Well, we're going to be in Buffalo, New York." He said, "Oh, that's right." I said, "You could have waited then." He said, "No, I needed to see it now." So
Yes.
shortly after,
Because
Miguel,
he's not going to be able to see it in Buffalo, Annie, because he's going to be on stage when
he,
you are.
he might be, but
Yeah, they start in October.
oh,
They start this month.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
anyway,
He won't be
so
able.
that's probably why. Duh. Okay. Um,
But it
I'm
won't
sorry.
be, it may not be that long of a run, so he might come back and see it again. But I got a chance to introduce him to Miguel, who plays our Seth, and that it was
Yeah, because he walked up
together.
about the
Yeah,
same time, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah. And you got a picture of the two of them. It's fun how they look like twins. I got the picture first before I got the story, and I thought, "What's this?" Well, that's Miguel. Who's this? Is this another student kind of thing? Um, you got a chance to see also one of our students, and
Didn't
particularly one that you worked so particularly with, even in middle school.
right.
I
He's
didn't
now going
much,
to
but then we
Texas
helped him
State
through,
University here, and
right?
I didn't forgot that he was. So he texted me and said he was coming to see the show with some of his friends. And he wanted to have a tour backstage, but I said, "You're not going to believe this, but I'm doing a talk back, so just say it." Um, and he looks great. He's so happy. He's so happy where he is. He's well happy what he's learning and his new friends. And he said, wrote me later. He said, "I'm so proud that you were my teacher. Um, I learned a lot, and I'm really excited that I got to see this, and I'm so proud that you were my teacher." So,
Well,
sweet.
I mean, and Kyle represents the kids, especially the ones that we see from the time they're 12
Right.
on. And he was in The Sound of Music as an understudy while you were doing it at the Oslo um, as one of the children. And he he was he put in everything he could
Well,
to
his
teach
solo
and
piece,
understanding.
his solo play, well, even his thing in middle school, which was a monologue after talking to an elder, and he had
Yeah.
given the elder a part of the elder's life, which was probably one of my favorite ones ever.
Yeah.
He really got into telling story and then going into the story and becoming the character, and then being able to button it. He did figure it all out himself to button it so it had a through line. It was a beautiful little piece. And then his junior solo piece was also profound. Took him a while to figure out what he wanted to say. And when he finally found it, it was very theatrical because it had dance in it, and he added elements of things that we talked about in class, that he wove through it. He's a smart, talented young man. Yeah.
Great. Now, one more thing about something learned. Can we jump into that and then we go?
Sure. And then I have to go because I got to
Yeah.
get ready for a second
Uh-huh.
show. Um,
I looked at the clock. It's true. Um,
I should probably eat something too before tonight. Probably should eat something.
good. Your
Yeah.
mother is saying the same.
I'm
She's saying,
saying
yes, you should eat something.
something. Yeah.
Um, is it about truth? Something learned? I don't know if we can just jump right into that. Maybe we should think about it a little bit, but um, I don't know.
Well,
One other,
today the thing that I keep discovering relationships on the stage with
yeah,
people. Like
yes,
today,
okay.
we're going to be losing Pierce, who's plays Aaron. He's going to leave in a couple of weeks, and
It's one of the foursome.
replacement's going to be right. And he plays he's such a beautiful dancer, but there are times he has to play like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's
Yes.
cocky. And he also has acne on his face, so he's perfect. But he's such a smart, clever young man. And today, every once in a while, he just tries to change things up a little bit. So when they go uh, about their disease of scurvy, about pirates, and they usually go arg. But today he
Yeah.
went arg. And I just love stuff like that, you know,
Yeah.
just little moments like that just makes, and so I just burst out laughing. My character burst out laughing with him anyway, because she just
Yeah.
has such delight of watching all her friends tell do their little bit, but that was hilarious.
How much of that goes on? I mean, is there? I know that when you're with an understudy, um, they're doing their best
Their
to be
version of it, which is
themselves.
always fun because you have to listen
Um, but
differently.
there's a little bit of difference because the rhythms might be a little different.
Absolutely. Their take on
Uh,
things are different. That's fun. So you very quickly have to become that family member
yeah.
like that, you know. Um,
Um,
I find it
and
very stimulating.
you
Yeah.
talk about Gabby coming in for the first. Gabby coming
Yeah,
in for the first
now
time.
taking over the role of Delia, right.
Right.
Um,
So she and she you noticed something she was doing which and then thought I think oh it's my line.
well, yeah, she has to make the pass out all the cards for Uno, right? And she did it so efficiently and so quickly. I was going, "Oh, that's really cool. Why is it silent right now?" Oh, because I have to say a line. And I just laugh. It's hilarious.
That's all that's all you can do. I love I watched Victoria Clark was doing a playbill My Life in the Theater, which is a new podcast that I really like a lot. Seeing different people going through their playbills and reminiscing. And when she got to Kimberly Akimbo, one of the major things that struck me is she said, "I got to I got to be young. I got
Yeah,
to remember. I got to be and also I learned to not take myself so seriously."
yeah,
She because she's I can see from her character that she is such a um delightful, self-full, self-knowing, but self-effacing and funny, very, very funny. And she had been known for a long time as being this comic sort of comic actress, and until she got to Light of the Piazza, where it suddenly was a very different kind of,
such a
I
brilliant
mean,
performance.
remarkable role that she created. But um, I I I love that, and it's knowing that you get to yourself do the same thing, and we'll probably talk about this every week, but the idea that you not only spread joy, but you get to enjoy your own sense of fun and um, with all within the parameters of telling this very specific musical play, um, and and relive that, and audiences get to do the same.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
should probably wrap up, but I do have a question for you. I want to know what happened last with the students in doing solo theater.
Hmm. This next coming class is phenomenal because I have them for several hours.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking over for a little bit of the day. We get to really come back to things. Um, um, I what's exciting is that they are without my bit without me doing much.
Mhm.
They are almost to a person know pretty much what they're doing
Mm,
with their piece right now, their 10 minutes at least, and what they want to really look at.
right.
Um, I am I I love the questions right now because the questions are based in can we do this?
Mm, right.
And a lot of parameters that they've grown up with. Um, and every time I get to answer them, I get to say something like, Yes, you may. This is from your mind. This is from you. This is, think big. Think like pretend you're doing an off-Broadway play and you have anything you want to.
Right,
Um, we will, we will show you how to pair it to something, pare it down to something, how to make that work within what it is. But the number who are thinking of combining different modes of solo is really exciting. Um, and um, their absolute excitement
that's great.
about doing it.
That's
Um, that's the kind of thing I took away from. It's always never long enough. I leave it feeling like, oh, I want more of this
I want more, yeah.
because they are so eager and excited and I got to hear some of their writing from the assignment of visiting a time when they were very young and or their first crush.
Right.
Um, and um, well, let me tell you one thing. The most profound thing that happened last week was a girl who wanted to. She loved Dolly Parton, and she loved her album, the Color. Shoot, Colors in the title of the album. I forgot. Um, and I asked her to look at a story of her first love, and she told us all that her first love was music,
Mm, yeah.
always has been. Her greatest love is music,
Mm,
and she told us how she got into a car and her mother put on this Dolly Parton song and how much she fell in love with it at that time. And I said, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Now close your eyes. And I want you to go back because she didn't tell us the story really from that perspective exactly. So I asked her to go back to Beam 4 and climbing in the car and sitting with her mother and having her mother put on this CD in the car and this music comes on and the first thing you felt about that and what you understood. And I thought she was going to just now open her eyes and tell us that and then I said and then sing the song. So while I talked her through that and when I said now open your eyes and she started singing the song and beautiful tears came and she didn't get through much of it
yeah.
because it was profound to her.
Right.
I said, see, this is what happens.
This is
It's
fun
hard.
because, while I'm in New Orleans on Tuesday, I'm going to a school there, and we're going to spend 2 hours doing solo theater development.
Yes.
We're using that same exercise. The next time we meet, let's compare the notes because I want to hear.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to go further with others. I knew Piper was working at this already.
yeah,
Um, so they are seeing more and more and more. It comes from personal,
yeah.
and what you put into this is what you get out.
Mhm. It's just
It
like doing a musical. You have a scene that leads up to a song, and then something. Why do they sing at that moment?
yeah,
And so it's when you're singing even for an audition or if you're doing whatever, you need to have that storyline that brings you into that song and it
exactly.
changes the attitude of the song, which is
Right.
a beautiful experience, to make it personal. So,
And
okay,
I
we need to wrap up.
yep,
Okay,
that's it.
so
Yep.
we'll talk about that next time. Let's compare notes and we'll just keep finding the truths that we're doing in our classes.
And
And
so tell the folk where you're going tomorrow.
tomorrow I'm going to New Orleans and
Like you said, just said, yeah.
I haven't been to
Great.
New Orleans. The last time I was in New Orleans, and one only time was in 1978, and I was doing a road tour with the ASA with Children's Tour, and we went through, and it happened to be
Pasalica
during
and
Mardi Gras. So we had our costumes. We just wore those down the street.
oh, great. Was that Vasilisa or
No, we were doing Wiley and the Hairy Man.
Wiley and the Hairy Man? Oh, great. I
All right, my dear, I love
love
you, and I'll see you.
you. Yes.
Well, I see you all the time, but
Had a great show tonight.
thank you. It'll be fun. Yay.
Great. Great.
Yay.